Harbaugh.
Here.
Hutton.
Here.
Roy.
You here?
Saxon.
Here.
We're good.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting?
So move. I'll approve.
I'll approve.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. I'll open the public hearing for the application from Catherine and Seth Lang.
We come to the table, or do we?
You're welcome to join us up here. We don't stand on much formality here.
Minimal.
Don't bite me, Billy.
I've got to spread out here. I'm making my bifocals work.
Hello, this is Seth, my husband, and my name is Katie. We live at 602 Woodside Avenue. It's the big red brick house on the corner of Oak and Woodside. We recently tore down our rental property, which had the address of 321 Oak Street. It just was a money pit, and we didn't want to stick money into fixing it, so we tore it down. And we have this awesome yard for our kids. We have two kids. They're 1 and 3 years old, and we love playing outside with them. And what we're looking to do is put in a privacy fence where that home was. Does everyone have their papers and all that fun stuff? Okay.
One in this picture, or is it gone already?
The home is that one,
I
right there.
wasn't given that.
So that's our garage, and this is the house.
Okay, I haven't. When I was
Look at it, they have
So
no backyard.
they're showing this area.
But
here,
just
one
what's
fence, this is
between
no
the
longer-
garage and the house, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
it.
side yard,
That's
really.
it though.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay.
So, I can pass
I had
these
two.
around, or I can make a big line, however it works. But we're looking for, so the code apparently is 30 feet away from the sidewalk variance. We would like it 8 feet away. Privacy panel is 6 feet high. We're looking to, let me show you. I don't, it's so hard to explain the line.
Definitely 6 feet
Oh,
now.
you've done a great job with your explanations. I
Yeah.
think.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then
Your application says 8 feet.
With it being 8 feet, the
We-
panels are 6 foot.
Tall.
They want to be
Yep.
8 feet
8
off the
feet off the
property line.
sidewalk.
Off the property
Okay.
line where the
Right.
question is.
Right.
We'd love to
because-
have a 20-foot wall.
Well, they can have the
but-
fence up to the sidewalk, but it can only be 4 feet high. 'Cause
Right.
It's the front
Yeah,
yard.
they want a 6 foot tall.
Where they want a 6 foot.
I also know that the city attorney has a house on Woodside and Griswold, and he has a fence much closer to the intersection. So what we are asking is just sweet,
There you go.
sweet nothings.
With respect to that, under state law, any other variance, any other violation doesn't create a precedent. So that's irrelevant.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for
point.
sharing that.
Um,
So I'll show you pictures,
where-
starting from here at the
for
corner.
setback on this line,
2 feet.
2 feet.
Yep,
okay.
2 feet is the max, or is the minimum that it has to go. Or you can get written permission from your neighbor
Right,
to go closer.
okay.
Yep.
That lot line that is gonna be parallel to the Cardinal family, it will be 2 feet off their lot line. The lot line from back, which is Ruth's house, will be 6 feet from, it was 5 or 6 feet from the pole, the lot line, because we
Right,
want it
and our
connected to our garage.
Right.
So it's not going to affect her property at
It
all.
won't stagger, it'll just be one straight.
Does it have to be a 6 foot high fence?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's my reasoning. We have a neighbor that lives across the street, and I'll give a couple of reasonings. I have 2 young kids, and I work in a police department, and a lot of bad things can happen. There's a neighbor that lives across the street. His driveway, if you're sitting in my driveway, his driveway is right there. He sits out all day and drinks. I don't need my kids being around an alcoholic who does not watch their 7-year-old daughter go into the street and entice our kid, who's 3 years old, trying to get into the street. I think it's unacceptable. We've talked to him many times. He doesn't listen. He doesn't watch his kids. I don't need that. I would like my kids to play in a safe area. Down in the corner of Oak and Lincoln, there are apartment buildings that have issues with drugs, domestics, warrants. I contacted the Ripon Police Department. There are multiple issues at those apartment buildings. In the summertime, when people are here for canning season, they come up from Texas or wherever they are. They're drunk and they go to the bars and they walk and they cut across our lawn. I am tired of it and I just need a little privacy for my kids. That is what I'm asking. I don't think it affects anyone. I am also going to ask, because I've thought about this and it's been a month since we've talked to Sue, I would also like this to be a privacy panel behind our pine trees. Again, it doesn't affect her yard, it doesn't affect Carly's yard. It's just some privacy panels behind these trees.
How far are you going down?
You're talking about
To our
the
bushes.
side parallel to
Or
the
bushes by the
sidewalk?
fire pit
Yes.
to the driveway.
Oh, that's it, not
Kind of in
all
front
the
of
way
where
to
the swing
corner.
set is now?
No, absolutely not.
No,
Okay, 'cause
no,
It's going-
you had talked about putting dog
Oh.
kennel in there.
no, we're not doing that.
Not a kennel. I mean,
Well-
eventually we'd like our dogs to go over there.
Correct,
Right.
correct. So then we'll talk about the fence that you guys have there now on my property line.
On our lot line that we share, and we had a verbal agreement, I understand.
Verbal,
Yes.
not written.
And we will get rid of it,
Can-
Ruth.
can
You
we-
can come down.
Can we know who you are?
Everett Hernandez, I live at 608 Woodside. My driveway is right next to their house.
Okay, on
Woodside.
on the wood side?
Correct.
Okay.
Here?
What?
Here.
No, her
No,
property
she's
isn't even on any
right
of the
there.
pictures that we put.
Right there.
There,
The
oh,
other side.
yeah. I got mixed up in there, that was,
So once you get the back one built, that one in the front's coming down anyways.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, oh, that
that
was,
was kind of, we had a newborn and we needed a place for our dogs and
Because we had neighbors who would walk by and get pissed off and yell because we had our dogs on a leash or a tie-up, and people don't like it. But your dog barks constantly, to be honest, and so when our dogs are out, why can't our dogs bark?
So I maybe missed that. So you're saying the fence that's on the front of your house would go away and the new fence would be in the back?
Yes.
Okay. And then, have you decided on the material? Because I know you're very prepared in
You
your
have.
statement.
Yes.
Which
So-
one you selected?
We are going with white vinyl. Unfortunately, the cedar, we are not able to get most materials for. But if we change our mind, is that gonna be a big issue for people?
No.
Not really.
No, but we'd like to know.
it's nice to know where they,
well, the vinyl is less maintenance and you power wash it.
and that's available.
Well, that's.
Cedar
that's
might not
the
be,
main-
with the way the market
The
is.
big thing is the posts in cedar right now. So with the vinyl, you can put a treated post in and put the sleeve on it, and it's, you don't know what it is.
And it's good side on both sides.
Yeah, it's good on both sides, not just one side,
Right.
not to your neighbor.
And it's not gonna
Do you
fade.
have concerns about this? or-
Well, my concern is the precedency we're setting with the 6-foot fence going up. Is everybody gonna start trying to do that within the neighborhood? Because we're, as a group, we used to have summer parties for the whole entire block. And yeah, we're all friendly with each other. You have your occasional neighbor you don't like, that's fine. But, you know, it's Woodside. I've been there since '82. So everybody's been very calm with everybody and we get along. You need help, we help. So the whole 6 foot doesn't have to be quite so high.
Okay, so 6 foot isn't even near your property,
No, it's not.
so,
I'm just saying a
Okay.
precedency for
Thank you.
everybody else coming in that
Okay.
neighborhood.
I think in the last few years, we've had very few applications for 6 foot. Don't we usually go 4?
Usually 4, we did have one over
I remember
on
that.
this side of town because they had an autistic.
So I don't think
The
it
only
sets
one I remember
precedent.
was the-
I think
And they were on
most
a
people
corner
are
lot
within
too,
4
just
foot.
like
Side
you are.
yard.
And that-
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were on a
see.
corner.
Yeah.
They actually had 3
I can
streets
remember
around
one.
them.
Right, me
Well, we
too.
had one up by the apple orchards that needed the addition, 2 feet on top of it. And I don't know if you were here.
I think I was.
It was
'cause
all
they-
about the light coming down in their
Yep.
swimming pool and all of that.
Yep.
And we said, as long
It was
as
on Thorn.
the light's there, they can have it. When the light moves or goes and that 2 foot comes
Yep.
off, and we left it that way, that's how we figured that one.
Yeah, that one went to an 8-foot high
Yeah,
fence.
and that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was quite a few years
That's
ago.
before my time.
Yeah, but getting old.
But yeah, the only time we come into this is when it's corner lots because they don't have a rear yard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all this would be
You lose
we
it.
consider this our backyard now because, well, we're not in a corner, we're not, traffic, it doesn't affect traffic or turning or anything like that.
Where's your gate? Is it over off the driveway there by the garage? That you'll be letting the kids in and out?
We wouldn't have a gate.
Oh, it's wide open, but it's a U?
It's wide open
Oh.
view for
Oh.
now, and then eventually, we have talked about a driveway gate, but
Okay,
that's not gonna be maybe till next year.
okay.
My question is, how soon do you see you going all the way down to Woodside?
Oh, we're
That's
never-
not going to
we're never
Woodside.
going all the way to
Never?
Woodside. We
Oh,
would,
well, I'm not gonna say never for a 4 foot eventually, or a 2 foot, just decorative, but 6 foot, no.
we wanna stop at our
We wanna
walkway
stop right
going up
here, so
our
here's our
bushes.
driveway, here's the yard that we wanna fence in. We want privacy there, 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 and then we also want privacy panels
Up to
here
our bushes.
to our bushes.
So this is the sidewalk
Yep,
here,
yes,
and you're coming down next to this garage. then?
yep,
Okay.
which would be that way, so
So-
you're looking at the picture.
Yeah, so
sidewalk,
this is,
sidewalk, yep.
when you say neighbor's lot, that's that open space right
The
where
neighbor's
garage
lot is the neighbor,
Yep.
and then this would be our yard.
And they'll be 8
Garage
feet off the
house.
sidewalk, so it's on the other side of the trees.
Yep, it'd be
Right.
behind the trees.
And we were notified that Alliant Energy is putting power overhead underground, and they want to put a transformer by the sidewalk, so by us keeping the fence back, we don't intrude with any of that also.
I thought the transformer was going between our two garages.
They informed us it's going in your yard, not ours, because
They haven't
you,
informed me that yet, so.
Well,
Okay,
they
well, I'm
have-
just telling
they
you what
haven't
Donna
been very
said.
open with.
because I
any of
asked
us.
her about this on the timeline, and she said this is not gonna affect her at all, because it's your yard that she needs to talk to about. But that's,
So, because you have the transformer at the pole, they'd have to put something at the ground
Yes.
to go under, and then Rick used to work for Alliant Energy, well, he said they might have to put a pedestal on our side to go underground to your side of the street.
Right. The only thing I'll say about that, and that's not an issue for tonight, is that Alliance told me for going underground on our block, wherever that goes, they want a 12-foot easement, which is really a lot of land.
Right.
And we're willing to do it, by the
Right.
way, we're gonna do
Right.
it.
Yeah,
But if it goes on her side and she has to give up 12 feet and you don't, that's kind of a weird issue.
but that's not mine, it's not us.
Usually they
so-
split it. half
Right,
and
I
half.
think it
Yeah,
should be
but-
50-50.
Yeah, 50/50.
Mhm.
But either way, when they come in, they're not gonna be affected by this.
Yeah.
but-
No,
That's
it's
not
not
really-
for this,
that's
that's
not
another
really-
project.
Well, no, you'll have it in a
Later.
small box.
An issue
Right.
for us.
I got it up to that hill up there in
Yeah,
town, and I
we
was
did
trying to
too.
decide where to put that thing, and it was kinda
Yeah.
wherever you back up or whatever, you
Yeah.
know. Up there on that crazy wall. and I
Yeah.
ended
The
up there.
variance is for height and setback, both?
It's the height and, it's the height. They can have a fence in the front yard, it's just the height.
It's just
I thought it
height.
was,
So-
oh.
so this
okay.
8
You
feet
could put
is
an
within
8-foot
code.
fence 30 feet
Right,
back.
they can
only-
have it up to 2 feet off the sidewalk. It's the 8, it's a 6 foot high.
6 foot tall all the way
Yep.
around. And it's only.
Because you have to be 30 feet back and then go to 6 feet. Because that's the
Okay.
front yard setback. So anything in that front 30 feet can only be 4 feet high.
Any other
And that
comments for the
includes this
public
front.
hearing?
Yep.
Yes,
Jeff Johnson at 529 Woodside emailed me prior to the meeting and stated he has 0 objections with the request.
okay. Did you hear from any other neighbors?
That is the only neighbor.
Okay.
By the way, congratulations on your preparedness, because this is wonderful.
Yeah, you've done an
You've
excellent
done
job.
more than we've ever asked, but the 6 to 8 feet on the fence panel height, is it 6 feet or is it 8 feet?
So it's 6 feet.
6 feet.
so the panels either come 6 by 6 or 8 by 6.
All right.
So that might, it depends on how it lays out, but the height is 6 feet.
Yeah, it's not.
The length is either 6 or 8 feet.
I'm trying to.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. That'll mean nothing, it's just the height. Only the height.
Ruth, what is your objection?
I just don't want to see everybody in that neighborhood doing the same thing. I mean,
I can't think they would, because they're not in a corner situation.
Right. But-
Yeah, we have to look at it as a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
So we probably,
Well, yeah, but we
Rarity.
also have to consider the aesthetics of the neighborhood.
right,
I mean,
we're
that's
not
part
gonna
of
get
We're
an
not
influx
historic.
of 100
That's
people
part of
coming in to
the-
get fences.
No, it doesn't matter if it's historic, it's
No.
aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Well, I don't look at
It
a
goes
fence,
beyond just
I don't
the-
look at a fence being permanent, like a permanent forever fixture.
well,
I mean, if you look at it
we
that way.
don't know that.
Right.
I mean, our fence has been there for 100 years.
Was there iron?
No, it's,
They're 3
we
foot tall.
replaced it, we replaced
There's
it.
no 100 feet none in wood in Ripon that's 8 or 6 foot tall, that's all, they don't last that long. I'm just saying, it's kind of like a temporary thing, but
But not temporary,
Not necessarily,
correct.
just statement.
yeah, I understand. Any other comments for the public hearing? All right, I will close the public hearing and open this for discussion among the members of the committee. Do I have a motion one way or the other?
I was gonna talk about the hardship. You know, you like to bring the hardship up on this. I don't see a restrictive hardship on 4 to 6 feet as far as the height goes. I understand the homeowner's concerns with the neighbors in the neighborhood, you know, but I think a 4-foot fence will serve much the same purpose as a 6-foot fence, so far as corralling the kids and keeping them safe, and at least for the time being, keeping the neighbors, nosy neighbors, out of it. I know that a 30-foot tall fence would do a much better job, but I think 4 foot might be sufficient in this instance. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
I have similar concerns. Under state law, and we are governed here by state law, a variance is granted to eliminate or to relieve a hardship that means, and the hardship means that without the variance, you can't use the land. That you can't make a reasonable use of the land and still comply with the ordinance. There are some options here. You could move that fence back to 30 feet. You could put a 4-foot fence up front. I know you don't like those options, but that's not enough to warrant a variance under state law. The law is very clear that the hardship must be due to unique physical limitations on the property, that the circumstances of the applicant, whether it be a growing family or the need for a larger garage, is not grounds for a variance, that the fact that no one objects to it, no neighbors object to it, is essentially irrelevant under the law. That's not a basis for providing a variance. And in a sense, because you do have options, but you're set on this particular one, it is, as the law would define it, it is in essence a self-imposed hardship. I am concerned about, we have on occasion in this committee bent a little bit in terms of defining a hardship. When the hardship was moderate and the impact of the variance would be very minor. The example that comes to mind is a fellow who wanted to build a garage that was 2 feet higher than allowed because he had been given some trusses. 2 feet higher on a garage is not going to be a visual impact. I think a 6-foot fence, 30 feet long, is going to be a major visual impact. It's going to make them, it's going to be a significant impact on the streetscape. Based on that, I cannot vote to allow this variance, and I'm urging my colleagues to do not to do so either. You have options that would allow you to work within the ordinance. And as I said, the variance is intended to alleviate a situation where you have no options. except to ask for a variance. I'm sorry, I sympathize with your problems. I've had kids of my own, but as I say, we are ruled by the law here. And we have to the best of our ability, to conform to the law.
Sounds good. Next.
Do I have a motion?
Would that make any difference if it was a different material? Just the height, right?
It's the height.
Just
It's
the
the
height.
height. Material is irrelevant from the perspective of granting or not granting.
I struggle with it because I too, as you guys know, we all worry about the aesthetic, but I don't know that the difference of 4 to 6 feet from where I sit and what I see going on in this area, I've been there 6 years, I don't know that those 2 feet are gonna make that much of a visual impact aesthetically. I would say 6 feet, not 8 feet.
I mean, I think we had a worse aesthetic looking
Wait,
thing
I
by
don't know if
the,
we can talk.
well, I'm just saying, we had the
No, that's
house
okay.
that was practically falling down, and,
Yeah, you clean that up.
I mean, we removed it because, for one, the maintenance to keep up with it, it was structurally failing. I mean, in 5 years, it would have tipped over and taken our garage down, and, I mean, I think that was more of a eyesore than what.
I'm not arguing with that. And as I say, I sympathize with you, but we have a law that we have to conform to here.
The long part that you're concerned about, this really long stretch, is like going straight back.
Alongside
Yeah.
the driveway. Yeah, that's not a concern. It's the one that's parallel to the sidewalk.
Sidewalk side.
So we're only,
So-
so they can do one size one way and then the smaller size the
They
other
would
way?
have to do 4 feet from 30 feet back, is that correct? Okay, so you'd end up with,
So we'd be able to do 4 foot.
you'd end up with a
foot.
4-foot fence here and then 8 foot back here.
You know, it's a really fun thing too, is you don't have to walk on Oak Street if you don't like looking at it.
That's not an issue.
Okay,
I'm
well,
sorry,
you're
it's just,
saying it's the
it's-
aesthetic. And we've got someone who actually lives nearby saying it's not gonna be a huge difference.
Again, the law is very specific. It states specifically that lack of objections from the neighbors is not the basis for a variance. But we can't
It's not just
really,
a neighbor, he's on the board.
we can't consider that. We have to consider a lot of different factors.
So if we do the 4 feet to please you, is it going to still be 8 feet variance? Because that's what I'm asking, I want more yard at least.
If you do 4 feet,
Then you
that's-
can go up to
you can
2
go up
feet
to
from the
2 feet
sidewalk.
from the sidewalk.
And then I can plant really tall trees and put out signs and
Yep.
everything? Perfect.
Again, I'm sorry,
Oh, that's okay.
I sympathize with your problem, I wish we
and-
could do it for you, but given all of the
I'd
different
like to hear everyone's
considerations,
answer first on the motion, or however that works, for voted.
I don't
And
have
then I
a
have one more
motion.
thing.
Billy, Steve, Roy, anybody want to make a motion? I can't.
I'm still
Sure.
thinking, give me a minute here.
Sure.
30 feet back.
While you're thinking, just to clarify, for the front yard, we're 1 foot off of our lot line right now with that fence. We are not completely getting rid of it, but once this other fence is up, we will push the one that is close to your, parallel to your yard, we'll push it back, but we are not completely getting rid of that front fence. So I just want to clarify that.
Shouldn't it be 2 feet off that fence or the lot line when you build? Or when you put up a?
Yes, we are
permanent
sorry that we
structure?
were friends with you. We don't know what we did last week to piss you off, Ruth, and for you to come here and be like this. But, okay, we will make sure things are right. Thank you. Also, if we're gonna talk like that, I don't want you ever to administer any kind of medicine or anything to my kids.
Just, it has nothing to do with this.
Well, we're
Yeah,
gonna talk about that.
Let's keep this,
So is it 2 feet back off of the lot line?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, with a 4-foot fence, they could come up as
2 feet from
2
the line.
feet
2 feet from the
to
sidewalk.
the sidewalk and.
Which
the
would
lot.
actually
And-
technically
Okay.
encompass the trees, I think. Or the trees would then come into play.
Well, we have to do it behind the trees because
Well,
of
we
the
have,
line.
there's big pines and stuff. I mean, I think the trees right now are a foot to 2 feet off, so we'd never be 2 feet.
Yeah, we would do it behind the trees.
Do you have a picture that shows
You'd be
from
back.
your driveway
You'd be back.
down the sidewalk?
Yes.
Back there, wouldn't it?
So,
That's where he.
Yeah, one that,
Oh,
is it
that-
to a
but
lot
for over
lower
here-
sidewalk there? Yeah, that's a lot.
We
and then this would be
we
the
just wanna
corner
keep
of
that same
Oak and
plan.
South Grove.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that. no.
That's the
So-
neighbors.
Yes.
That goes there. Yeah. So this garage is this garage, in
Yep.
this picture. I don't see a real issue with it being 6 foot, although I agree with you, there's not truly any kind of hardship.
Not
Associated with
Not the
it?
way the law defines
Right.
it, no.
But
I-
aesthetically, for
We
the
had
neighborhood,
that
I can
one
see.
on Thorn Street that was an issue with a neighbor, similar to what you said, and I understand it, because I had kids and I know what it's about. And they were swearing across the yard to his other neighbors, and we gave him an option. I think you were here, he was crying, and we allowed him that variance for that reason. But he never did. He never did the fence.
That was the side yard though, wasn't it?
No, it was it was on,
Who's gonna
it
run all the way?
wasn't on Thorn, it was on Newberry. It was on
Who's
New-
gonna run all the way down to the sidewalk?
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. It was.
I'm sorry, I just have to say, you know, in terms of this situation being unique, you know, the hardship here, in my opinion, in looking at this, and I kind of argue with Sue about this, the hardship here is you're applying the standard of a front yard to two portions of their property. If this were considered a side yard, they could do the 6-foot fence, however many feet off of it. You know, all we would have to do is change our ordinance or apply a different standard and say, guess what, this is actually your side yard, you can build it 6 feet, no big deal. The hardship here is the code says, or the interpretation of the staff is that they have 2 front yards. They're essentially asking for you to turn that front yard into a side yard.
Okay.
I agree with that totally.
Good point.
That is the hardship.
Yep, that's,
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
that.
I hadn't considered that. That's a good
Unique
point.
circumstances being a corner lot.
That's what I'm saying, you got two.
Yep, you got them 2 front
you got
yards.
two front yards, depending on how you want it.
So what
all
is their
front.
backyard and what is their side yard?
Correct.
Yeah.
I would say the,
Good point.
Thank you.
it'd be different if we're putting a 6-foot fence where you can't see when you're hitting an intersection.
You know, we got rid of that huge pine that everyone complained about. We're doing good things. He's doing all the buildings downtown, so it's not like we're
The
making
code
this
is 2 foot minimum.
Two
but
an
right now
ugly
it's
looking
6.
house.
I agree, and some of
It will
these
be
are old,
6.
old,
And this will be 2
rules.
feet off.
some of our walls are old,
I-
times change.
Or we sell and make this into a slumlord property and really give you guys a lot of trouble.
No, don't do that,
No,
please.
no, we have enough.
Market's hot.
I think it is a unique circumstances being a corner lot.
Okay.
I will agree with that. While I don't think that entirely a 6-foot fence all the way around there is a necessity, I'm sympathetic to the homeowners wanting it just for peace of mind and privacy. And I don't see, especially with an empty lot next door, or their neighbor's garage and driveway there, and them keeping it 2 foot off the lot line there and 6 foot off their rear neighbors, I don't see any problem with it. I would make a motion to approve a 6-foot fence in the vinyl that they have chosen for this 3-sided, what people are saying is a side yard, and I see as a front yard or a rear yard. I mean, just based on the circumstances of the lot.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Can I ask a hard question?
Sure.
Okay, so, and that's, we'll get to that vote, but once we approve the 6 foot, is anybody here gonna be upset if they decide 3 years from now to extend that forward
They have to
knowing.
come back.
They
for
gotta
another-
come back
Come back.
They gotta
For
come back
every-
here.
For every,
Every time.
Yeah,
Okay.
the variance is for the fence as they've represented it,
Now.
not for any future fence that they might want to put up.
right. I'll second the 6
But,
foot.
but that also does not mean within their property, you know, which on this hand drawing,
Mhm.
parallel to the driveway, they can't put, you know, an 8-foot fence down their own driveway and make that totally enclosed fence. We have no jurisdiction thereof, because they will be well within building code and everything.
Okay.
What, you're talking about if they
Right next door.
close off
If they
this?
close this off, we won't have anything to say about it,
No,
No.
because that's all on their property. They can do whatever they want here,
Okay, because they've got the setback, they would have. the
because we
setback
would have
here.
already granted this.
Yeah, okay,
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
so if they felt like, I'm not want to speak for you. Okay, don't think that that's where you're going. But if they wanted to put, you know, a 10-foot
Yeah.
tall fence there, we are out of our element for,
well, I think the variance, if we grant it, would allow 6 feet here,
here.
up.
Well, it would be the 30 feet back,
It'd be the 30
but
feet.
On the back
if we
side.
grant this at 6, there's almost no way we can't grant this at 6.
No, that's true, You mentioned 10 feet, that's.
Right, I mean,
they would
I'd
have to
be-
come back for that.
Obstinate and
and they're
exaggerating.
actually,
but-
the ordinance does state the max height is 7 feet in a residential.
Okay.
So they're going a foot shorter.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's, no, so it's actually a foot shorter.
Yeah.
Yep, than what the max
than
requirement.
what the maximum is. Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Have you thought any about reducing height from 6 to 5?
They don't
I-
make the
I thought
I
it
don't
was
think
6
they
and
have-
20.
You can't buy them, have.
You can't buy the panels that way.
Unless you make them,
I'm
unless
not,
you
I'm
build your
not,
own.
I'm not cutting vinyl panels down to 5 foot.
That is another point, we were thinking of having
Yeah.
someone install it, but we were not, we were gonna have Seth install it.
Well, it saves you money. The custom made's gonna double the
And when are you gonna
price.
find time to do that?
Talk to my boss.
You have more than one boss, I hate to remind you.
Well,
Just
when-
out of
when you work for
curiosity,
Tom,
is
and
is
then-
the fence
That's
you're
what I'm
looking
saying.
at
And
solid
then you
all the
got-
way to the top, or is there a louver or lattice?
You wanna come and shop for it with me
Which
and
one?
open your
Oh,
checkbook?
okay. No,
It's that
no,
one.
I
I
was
don't
just
remember
curious.
which one you picked though.
Okay,
Yeah, every little bit you add to the vinyl ones, oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I did 900 feet over on Jackson that time.
any other discussion on this?
And keep your big trees away from it.
On this
so when
motion.
they fall on it, you don't have to go to the insurance company.
So just so we're understanding, it's the highlighted part that's in your
Yeah,
little diagram, and then I was also asking
That's
for this
not-
area.
That's not in that though. That's too late. We'd have
Oh.
to come back from that.
yeah.
Really, even,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
not on the
That would
drawing.
be
got it. So
Yeah.
just a
separate.
bunch of trees and a bunch of signs I can do?
Well, we could do 4 foot.
Yep, you
Yep.
could do 4
Oh,
foot there.
I'll
We
do
could
4
We
foot,
could do 4 foot on
Yeah.
that side.
Yeah.
and a bunch of trees and a bunch of signs.
But we got a motion laying out there in a seconded, so
Yeah.
we should probably make our decision here.
You wanna call the roll?
Do I want, sure, Arbaugh,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Roy,
Yes.
Sexton,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of your hard work on this.
Thank you.
Thank you for understanding our concerns about it.
It's a weird situation.
It's a weird situation and.
Corner lots
you know,
always
that's-
are.
That's kind of what we deal with, is weird situations, and sometimes we have to work a little harder to come to a resolution.
The corner lots are,
Corner lots are a nightmare.
Roy, I really appreciate your bringing that point up, because I think that really is the hardship.
That's what I was getting hung up
And I
on in
hadn't thought
general.
of it in that terms. and,
no, Adam kind of cleared it up.
Yeah.
We got
Well, when he brought it
yeah,
up-
it's gonna be the side
Do
yard.
not blame me.
I mean, we
Adam,
I will so
We're
move for
adjourning.
adjournment.
I would suggest that you take it back to the planning commission to look at the ordinance and see if they need to do some modification for corner lots.
I would totally agree with you.
Okay,
Corner lot.
We do want to say thank you. It's been a lot of fun. My grandparents purchased this home in 1960s, and to have this home in our family and to be with my husband, who's a carpenter and does an awesome job. It's awesome
it's a
to
beautiful home.
be there, and so we do appreciate it. It's just, it does get tough when we have people walk by and state their opinions, and
Well, you've
It's
done
tough.
nothing but fix it as you've been going anyway.
But I just have to remind
Thank
people
you
it's
for
not
showing
a
up.
rental
That
lot.
doesn't always happen.
Just remind them that you're not done yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Have the brick house on the hill. You ever gonna get
And I
done?
know you
You're
are.
gonna, you're gonna finish yours.
You're
first.
getting
I
there.
encourage you to be the best
Got the
neighbors
porch
you
on.
can be,
I
even
haven't
with
been
their
up there.
fences
We've
and
been in the
everything,
coffee
you
house
know.
for
I know,
2
but
months.
you-
There's
ever
always
seen
gonna
mine?
be those people,
Yeah, I know.
even in my yard, I'm the
No,
only
I
lot
got
that
the
has
porch, in fact, I
a
just started
sidewalk
putting
that
soffit in
throws
it.
stuff, and I
Did you
yell
build
at my dogs
the second
and
one?
all that kind of
Is, you know,
stuff.
years ago,
Uh,
you
yeah,
let your kids
yeah.
run
Yeah,
outside, they
well,
felt
even
it
in
up.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
Started
anymore,
putting
you know.
soffit in
We don't
it.
even let our daughter
moved to
ride her bike on
By
the
the
road.
door.
I have a motion to adjourn. Is there
I
a second?
adjourn.
I don't know
Make
if
the
you
motion,
caught
we
that.
adjourn.
I gotta get out of here before.
I was
Hearing no
up there.
objections, meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, that thing started.